Good evening and welcome to This Week with Dr. Sudhir Parikh, where Padma Shri recipient Dr. Sudhir Parikh will be sharing his views on some of the issues making news this week in US, India and elsewhere. Thank you, Dr. Parikh, for talking to us.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. My first question to you, or rather, it's about Mr. Mikhail Gorbachev. The Nobel Peace Laureate Mikhail Gorbachev, the last leader of the former Soviet Union from 1985 until 1991, died at the age of 91 yesterday. He forged arms reduction deals with the United States and partnerships with Western powers to remove the Iron Curtain that had divided Europe since World War II and bring about the reunification of Germany. Despite being celebrated across liberal democracies, the former Soviet leader was unpopular in Russia. Putin famously referred to the end of the Soviet Union as the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the century. It was November 26, 1986, when the Soviet leader arrived in New Delhi for a three-day visit. It was one of the most high-profile visits of the year, and hundreds of thousands of people gathered to welcome him. Mikhail Gorbachev's India visit scripted history, enhanced ties, and weakened US grip on Delhi. Reflect on the life of Mr. Gorbachev and how changes in the geopolitical equations affected the world over the years.
Well, President Gorbachev was really a very tall leader of the Soviet Union. He has done, he reformed or he changed the whole world politics, kind of say he lifted the Iron Curtain and he kind of negotiated armed nuclear treaty with the USA and the NATO. And also he opened up Russia, opened up the Western market for the Russia. And of course, and given even independent of those countries who wanted to be a democratic and who wanted to be independent, of course, they are still kind of connected with Russia, but not as a part of the Soviet Union. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great service to the Russia by Gorbachev. Of course, he was not very popular after this action in Russia, because Russia wanted to dominate the world. Mm-hmm. And by doing this, I think they realized that Gorbachev gave away so much, but it is not true. Actually, that time Russia's economy was very poor, mm-hmm. was struggling very hard, and in order to revive that economy, Gorbachev has done this thing.
But he was very unpopular in Russia,
because
and he's said to be responsible for the disintegration of Soviet Union. How much is that true? Like,
no, it is true that of course his action did a disintegration of the Soviet Union, but he did in the benefit of the Russia. Mm-hmm. Because why? Because see, even though they disintegrated the Soviet Union, still those countries are still very closely connected with the Russia in the trade and economy, but they themselves are independent within their own country. So I think it's the best of the both worlds. He made more country more independent and democratic, and he revived the Russian economy, which was very kind of going downhill at that time.
And imagine he was responsible for nuclear disarmament treaty, especially with India, and they had like
Correct.
Beautiful relations.
Right.
Okay, so my next question is, an average of 82 people were murdered Delhi across India in 2021, while more than 11 kidnappings were reported every single hour during the year, according to the latest National Crime Records Bureau NCRB report. Among the top 5 states reporting murders were Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and West Bengal, it showed. Delhi recorded 459 cases in which 478 people were murdered, according to the NCRB figures. According to the NCRB, Delhi reported 5,527 cases involving 5,888 victims of kidnapping and abduction at a rate of 26.7, the highest among the states and union territories in India. Why is the state of law and order so bad in India? What strict actions must be taken by the center and state governments to prevent this?
See, all the law and order is a responsibility of the state government. So this is more to the state government that they should be very strict. They should be follow the books of the law and order, and make sure that no corruption or no nepotism or no favoritism should be done to the people who breaks the law. And law, person who breaks the law should be legally tried, and then if they're found guilty, should be punished. It should not let them go free without punishment. And if you start doing that, then probably the amount of criminal crimes and amount of murders will be less. And most of the majority of the murders are usually either drug related, or it's a gangster murder, or it's a money related murders.
Why are people not afraid of law anymore?
Because I think in India the judiciary system moves a little slow. Plus, I think there is still a lot of corruption at that level, and so people get free. Escape from that kind of punishment. So unless you punish the people, doesn't matter what kind of person he is, whether it's from the VIP society or middle class society or lower society, if there is a crime, it should be punished according to crime. And unless you do that, all this thing keep happening.
Like, I was happy to read about Seema Patra, the BJP leader who was suspended because she was abusing her domestic help. So
Right.
Hats off.
So the laws are there actually, but people are not implementing those.
Moving on, Rahul Gandhi will embark on the Padyatra, a foot march covering about 3,500 kilometers from Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu to Kashmir over about 150 days on September 7th. The Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra will not be a speaking yatra but a listening one, where Rahul Gandhi will not give speeches but listen to various sections of the society, senior party leader Jairam Ramesh said today. Your thoughts on this?
Well, I think all the party has right to do this kind of political activism, because I think that's their role, that either they should connect with the people, listen to their complaint, listen to their concern. And I think it's a good idea for any party. It doesn't have to be, I'm talking about Congress, but in general, I think all the parties should do this thing. That way, at least people should feel that someone is listening to them.
Somebody's listening.
So I think overall, I think it's a good concept.
As you rightly said, it can be any party,
Right.
but Congress, as it is projected as the biggest opposition to the ruling party,
Right.
you need healthy opposition party for a country or a democracy
Correct.
to survive.
Of course, yeah.
Dr. Parikh, Ruma Devi and Dr. Kiran Bedi were in our studio recently, and you had an opportunity to interact with both of them. How was your experience?
I think, of course, Dr. Kiran Bedi is a very powerful, very tall leader of the country. And she, as you know, that she was a very decorated IPS officer. She has reformed the Tihar jail completely, and she became then governor of the Pondicherry. And there also she did excellent work there. And so I think we are very lucky and privileged to have Dr. Kiran Bedi and Rama Devi in our studio. And we had an opportunity to chat with them, learned quite a few things from Dr. Bedi and Rama Devi, and how to empower the second generation, how to empower the women, how to empower all the all the different strata of the society for the education, for their rights, for their health and so forth. So I think overall it was a great visit. We had a good response, and I think they also very grateful to us, because through us they had a kind of connection with the Indian American in the USA.
So my next question, it's not a question, but happy Ganesh Chaturthi to you, Dr. Parikh, your family, and all the viewers of ITV Gold. You've been living here for so many decades now. How is it celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi here in US?
Well, I mean, there are two ways, in a sense, that everyone all Hindus celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi in their home by having intimate puja with the family member and eating laddu and all those traditional thing. And also in the community, now we have quite a few Ganesh Mahotsav all over the New York, New Jersey and country. And so I think that's a great news, because that gives the second generation not only religious teaching, but see who is a Ganesh is, why Ganesh is so popular, why Ganesh is, learn about the whole kind of Vedic literature. And I think that's a good idea. And unless you keep the second generation connected to your religion, usually culture falls apart, and we want to maintain our culture. And I think it's a great opportunity to celebrate this kind of holidays.
It's like we are all here from different religions, but
Right.
when we have a festival, even like Eid, everybody is celebrating it.
Right.
And it brings everybody together.
Together, yeah.
What is your favorite feast at Ganesh Chaturthi?
Well, of course, it's laddu and chikki, that tilki,
modak and,
modak and tikki. Modak is laddu, right? That
Yeah.
was favorite food for Ganesh. See, that's what we was told. So that's the one.
All right. Thank you so much. Your last words before we
Well,
leave.
dear friends, this week we had two VVIP guests in our studio. Dr. Kiran Bedi, as you know, she was former governor of Pondicherry and very decorated IPS officer in the past. And also Rama Devi, who has done so much for women, so much for the Dalits, and so much for the underprivileged, to lift them up. And so both icons of the India were here. We had a great conversation with them. We learned quite a lot from them, and we wish them all the best and continue doing service to the motherland. And we all are very obliged and thankful to them. So everyone, God bless America, God bless India, God bless Indian American, and we'll see you next time. Till then, goodbye.